This is an irregularly updated podcast.
Because we both have personal lives to take priority, so this is mostly for fun. And with that, soup's up!
Come one, come all to an all-new episode 2 of High on Soup, where our motto is...
This should be illegal.
That's correct, my friend. We got a pretty spider-tastic episode for you. Maybe you've read the title, but
Things are about to get pretty amazing.
We're talking about the Spider-Man.
Is Spider-Man a relevant topic right now? No, he hasn't been a relevant topic since Sony and Disney had a divorce and then didn't have a divorce. But that's just how the story goes, you know?
Spider-Man is kind of a big deal. I don't know if you guys are aware of this little guy named Peter Parker, but
Or Miles
he's
Morales,
kind of a big
or Miguel
deal.
O'Hara, or Ben Reilly, or Kane Parker. No, Kane Parker was never Spider-Man. Hold on.
Or Otto Octavius.
Good point. Bruce Banner was Spider-Man in that one universe.
That's really dumb. I'm sorry, that's really dumb.
Yeah, okay, random thing. Right out the gate, I want to say it. Spider-Verse should have been a lot of random-ass people under the Spider-Man mask, I think, for, like, filler guys, because one of the main points of the original Spider-Man design was that anyone could be under the mask. That was the whole appeal of him.
Right.
And the fact that there's, like, a gag where a bunch of them are just Peter Parker living through Peter Parker things. That's stupid and dumb and misses the complete point of Spider-Man as a character.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. But hey, what are you going to do? That movie came out and...
I was talking about the original comic.
Oh, were you? I thought you were talking about...
I
Oh.
was. I was
Fuck.
talking about...
I'm
See,
sorry.
It's so funny. It's so funny talking about Spider-Verse nowadays because it's been so oversaturated that when I try to talk about the original story that made it popular, no one fucking knows what I'm talking about.
It's true. It's...
Which is going to be a point we're going to get into eventually, I feel.
I'm really sick of multiverse shit. Like, I just do not care anymore at all. Like, this shit sucks.
Yeah. Alrighty, so I think... Do we want to start on a positive note and then slowly but surely tumble down the stairwell as the franchise of Spider-Man did?
I would say we should...
So, like, did you know Michael Bublé re-released his fucking music video for his jazz cover of Spider-Man that was in the credits of Spider-Man 2 just like a few weeks ago? He did an HD re-release of it.
Did he?
Yeah. And people have been talking about how it'd be a perfect theme song for the Spider-Man Noir show, which I keep forgetting is a thing that's happening on Amazon eventually.
Yeah. All right. Honestly, it could be good. I don't know. But, like, I don't know. I have mixed faith in Nicolas Cage as an actor. All right. Can I just say, real quick, as someone who loves the idea of Nicolas Cage, but doesn't necessarily love Nicolas Cage in practice, I think Nicolas Cage is a very good actor if the person making the film knows how to use him. Like, if he's working with a director that doesn't know how to harness what's special about Nicolas Cage, then you get shit like The Wicker Man, which is just insane and awful, and it just doesn't work on any level. But then, if you get someone who does know how to use him, like in a movie like Mandy, then yeah, it's perfect. It's fucking fantastic. So I feel like it's just a matter of, like, do you understand Nicolas Cage's strengths and his shortcomings as an actor? Because he is a genuinely good actor. I mean, I think he's fucking great. I've probably seen more Nicolas Cage movies that I liked than that I hated. But then again, oh boy. He's notorious for a reason.
Oh, dearie me.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about 2 Spider-Man cartoons.
And then we're going to get into the long-ass tangent at the end where we complain.
Just complain so much. This is gonna be so much complaining. Throughout the episode, there was some at the beginning of the episode. There's gonna be some at the end of the episode. There's just gonna be so much complaining going on. But yeah, this was genuinely not planned, but I shotgunned all of the new Spider-Man cartoon, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and May.
And so coincidentally, had been rewatching Spectacular Spider-Man with my girlfriend. Shout out to my lovely wife. I love you. Mwah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was not planned, I swear, but we both watched a Spider-Man cartoon, and it's kind of perfect. I'd seen the first season and most of season 2 for Spectacular Spider-Man years ago, so I don't remember a whole lot from it, but I remember really loving it.
Yeah. And I haven't seen a fucking lick outside of like 1 or 2 clips of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I was put off of the show for a few different reasons. Chief among them was the fact that I don't, like, my family has Disney Plus. I don't know if I can access it. I know they can access it, but, like, yeah. And I don't see I've had this thing recently where I rarely watch stuff on my own anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there will be exceptions to that rule, obviously. Most of the time, like, I like watching stuff and experience it with friends, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have enough friends who would be willing to watch Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which reminds me, we need to finish watching Batman the Caped Crusader at some point. Because, like...
Yeah, we do.
It was, like, it's, like... I've seen a design of a character we haven't met yet in the show.
Mm.
I'll just say it's off-putting. Like, it's a good design, just doesn't feel like the character it's designed for. But I will say the Clayface design is still perfect.
It's fucking
Excellent.
great, and it harkens back to his first appearance in the comics. It's pretty great.
Yeah, but that's the fucker from Gotham. We're not here for no fucking Gotham. We're here for New York. New York, baby. It's a
We're here
town.
for Queens, New York. And let me just say, maybe we'll also get into a little bit of Hell's Kitchen later. Oh, don't you worry about that, though. So yeah, do you want to go first, and we'll talk about a good Spider-Man cartoon?
Yeah. Alrighty. So, Spectacular Spider-Man came out in... Okay, fucking give me a moment before I lose my mind. Spectacular Spider-Man. It was in 2008. I was like 5 years old back then.
Okay.
It was hot off the heels of the success of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2 and 3.
And 3, yeah.
And it was also hot off the heels of the run of the Ultimate Comics. Right?
Did that finish by
Now,
then?
it hadn't finished by then, but it was going strong at that point.
Okay.
Uh,
Was he finished by then? Because I know he died in those comics.
I don't know if he was finished or not at the time. I have to look into it more. But Spectacular takes notes from it takes notes from Sam Raimi, it takes notes from Ultimate, and it very much harkens back to the old days of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. To the point where they're credited in the show's intro.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, I think it's it's, like, rewatching it again for, like, the first time ever in action. Because I have a DVD of, like, the last 4 episodes growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see it sporadically on TV, but I didn't remember a lot of it. But rewatching it, I remember just how good it is, especially now that I have actual comic book knowledge and am able to realize that it's some perfect mixture of Sam Raimi, the Ultimate Universe, and classic 70s Spider-Man. It manages to hit all the right notes in that order, and it works. Hell, Vulture's his first villain in the series.
That's true. Isn't that episode 1?
That is episode 1, yes.
All right.
And it's like, the way it's set up, it's perfect, because it foreshadows villains ever so perfectly. Like, the first episode has fucking Flint Marko, and I forget his fucking face, because I keep forgetting what his name is, but the guy who becomes Rhino, they're like just two stooges.
Isn't his name like... I was going to say Dimitri, but isn't that Chameleon? That's Chameleon. It's another Russian guy.
Yeah, lots of Russians. The Red Terror, everyone knows that. But, like, yeah, it was really, really good. The first season, incredible. I love just how everything was set. Because all the villains, like the original, like your OG Sinister Six, aside from Shocker, they're all directly tied to Oscorp, like they are in the Ultimate Comics.
Right.
And, like, Peter and Harry are best friends, and Osborn is like, Peter, you're so great. My son's a fucking failure. Like, and the Raimi movies. And it's just a perfect blend of everything. One thing I do really like about it is how it takes the trio dynamic from the Ultimate Comics, the trio dynamic of MJ, Harry, and Peter,
Right.
because they made MJ kind of a nerd in the fucking Ultimate Comics, which is like, okay, cool, but like, yeah, because Gwen fills that role now as the the high childhood best friend high school thing, right?
Right.
As the nerd, and it makes sense. It makes sense for Gwen. It's really good, and they also play on Liz Allen being Peter's first crush in a really fun way, where it's like she wasn't even Peter's first choice. Like, for a girl, it just, Liz fell head over heels for him and kind of just made a move on him first before anyone else could.
Damn.
They even just recreate shots from the comics at times. They did a fucking episode on Colonel Jupiter. There's a fucking Colonel Jupiter episode.
What?
There's a Colonel Jupiter episode.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, no, there's an episode about Colonel Jupiter. John Jameson.
Okay.
That guy.
Does he become Wolfman?
They were setting up for him to become Wolfman.
Okay.
Like, they were setting up so much stuff, but, like, yeah. Like, the one thing that deviated from everything that was kind of uniquely to the show was what they did with Kraven. Because like, me and my girlfriend rationed this when we watched it, because we paused to discuss it at the moment. Because Kraven loses to Spider-Man, and then he tries to track down Peter, by sniffing him out. And he tracks him back to Dr. Connor's labs, where Miles Warren is now working, the motherfucker. And he's like, you created Spider-Man. And Miles just fucking like, yes, I did. And Kraven's like, you give me powers like him. And he's like, he paid a pretty penny, you're gonna have to pay up too. And And so Craven gets
So is
fucking
he just
lion DNA.
is he just like hustling Craven?
He becomes a fucking lion, dude.
What?
Yeah, no, he becomes an anthropomorph. He gets lion themed. He just becomes a lion.
I don't remember as much of this as I thought I did.
Yeah, no, he became a lion. Like not a literal like four-legged lion, like typical, like more akin to the lizard.
Right. Like a lion humanoid like creature.
Yeah, his wife didn't seem to mind all that much when she found him like that. Freaks.
Fucking bestiality.
Well, there's a line, and I'm not sure. I also, Eddie was so fun in that show. Eddie Brock was so good.
Yeah.
Like, he and Peter were bros. They used to be best friends in high school, but Eddie's older, so he went to college first.
Mm.
And like, Eddie starts getting fucking pissed at Peter because he starts getting pissed at Peter first and foremost when the lizard episode happens because they're all working as interns for Doc Connors.
Right.
And it's the lizard episode, so Peter runs off because he needs to suit up as Spider-Man, and to everyone else, he looks like a fucking asshole just bailing on them. And because he needs that bread, because, the only other person in his household is a sickly old woman, he has to take pictures of Spider-Man beating up the lizard. And then Eddie gets pissed at him, rightfully so, for taking pictures of what was a very traumatizing, tragic event for everyone involved. Eventually, Eddie is chill with him again, especially when the symbiote comes into play. Because Black Cat tries to steal the symbiote. I don't fucking know why. It's never explained why she tried to steal it, but she tries to steal it. And it latches onto Peter's foot, and so everyone thinks Spider-Man stole it. And Eddie is pissed at Peter again. And Spider-Man. And he just progressively gets more and more pissed at everyone.
Yeah,
As Peter... Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say, I really liked all the Venom stuff in the show, and I don't really care for Venom.
Yeah, no. It was one of those instances where they made Venom work so well. Because, like... Dude had lost his fucking... Like, since the budget had been cut for Kirk Connors Labs after losing the alien, they had to cut him off, which means he wouldn't be able to afford college anymore. So he just progressively got worse and worse. And when Peter... Because, like, the symbiote in this show is really interesting because it, like, halfway manages to bond with Peter.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Sorry, I'm just reading DMs.
No, you're good.
Anyway. But yeah, no, Eddie then, once he gets the symbiote, is absolutely hell-tailing it to ruin Peter's life. Like, there's a whole 2-part arc for 2 episodes where Eddie just kind of breaks into the Daily Bugle once he gets the symbiote back and just tells Jameson straight to his face that Peter is Spider-Man, and so they have to do a fucking investigation into it.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
That was fucked up. And then he proceeded to try and unmask Peter live on television and then use a fucking gene cleanser to then make it so he couldn't fight back against his villains. And, like, he was just the number one hater. and then they separate the symbiote from him again. And he's fucking just losing his mind because Peter's like, you don't have to hold on to this hate. And then he goes, the hate is all it wants and all it loves me for. And then they have to cart him away on a restrained because he's fucking losing his mind.
Oh my God.
And then, yeah, that's the last we see of Eddie because we didn't get season 3. Speaking of season 3.
Fuck.
Like, they were setting up so much. Man-Wolf, the Clone Saga, they were hard setting that up. Like, I noticed throughout season 2, there was this strange obsession with having Peter fight another Spider-Man. Like, first, it's the episode with the chameleon, obviously.
Right.
And then there's the episode where he gets the symbiote off of him. because he has to fight the black suit in his mind, so it's Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. And then there's the episode where Eddie's impersonating Spider-Man in the black suit to tarnish his good name. That's also the Colonel Jupiter episode. But they were really, really wanting, like, really hammering home this idea of, like, there being multiple Spider-Men. And, like, Peter having to deal with that. And it's like, with the last 3 instances, it was a fraud in his mind, another fraud. So it was very, and they were always setting up fight scenes like that, and it was very, like, and with how heavy Miles Warren is featured in season 2, as, like, being set up to be a villain, they were really, really wanting to do Clone Saga stuff. And it pains me to know that, because, for those listening, I'm the #1 Ben Reilly fan ever. You can fight me on that.
Probably one of the only Ben Reilly fans in the world.
Yeah. But I'm a Ben Reilly fan, and if you know about Ben Reilly, you know that he doesn't exactly have the best track record ever, period.
Just a series of unlucky publication decisions.
Yep.
That sucks. God damn. All right, well, if I can add to the spectacular Spider-Man talk, it has, to this day, I think the best representation of Venom.
True.
I think the best.
I just fucking remember Cletus Cassidy made a background cameo and a name drop in an episode.
Did he really?
Yeah, no, it was the episode where they were resetting up the Sinister Six. Ock is in Ravencroft Institute, and Dr. Kafka is like, "Good job, Cletus." And when I heard that name, I fucking like, what?
Oh, okay.
They were setting up so much.
Yeah.
But as you were saying,
I was saying the best Venom stuff, I think best voice acting of any Spider-Man cartoon. And also
True.
best theme song of any Spider-Man cartoon. Because
Also
holy
true.
fuck, that theme song
Still?
fucks.
It does. But I also want to add, among the myriad of the best it did, it has the best Electro, hands down, in any fucking Spider-Man incarnation.
I would agree
Comics
with that.
otherwise.
I would agree
Like,
with that.
they made Electro actually make sense. As a, like, dude lost his fucking mind because he was turned into living electricity.
Yeah.
And he has to wear that fucking suit to keep himself from not dispersing.
I mean, I kind of liked him in the PS4 game, but he doesn't really have much of a character in that. Like, he's just a boss fight.
That's the thing with Electro. They don't really ever make him a character. He's just like your generic Spider-Man goon when you need him to fight
he's usually
someone.
just muscle.
Yeah,
Same thing with Shocker. Yes.
But they really did good with Shocker in like this show. In this show, really,
Yeah.
really love the stuff with Shocker.
This show's just fucking great. I think it's the best
great.
Spider-Man cartoon, even though I haven't seen it in years.
We should rewatch it at some point.
I'd be down.
Hell yeah.
It is the best Spider-Man cartoon, and I say that
one of the best-
having seen the most recent Spider-Man cartoon.
Before we do get into that, I want to say, not just one of the best Spider-Man cartoons, one of the best Spider-Man iterations, period.
Oh yeah,
Like, this is Spider-Man to me.
just fucking fantastic.
Spectacular, even.
Some would argue spectacular.
Alrighty, let's get on to the fucking slop they put on Disney Plus.
All right, this show is a real your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Anyway, the name of this show is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. There's 10 episodes, varying degrees in quality, not only by episode, but quality dips throughout each episode.
Yeah.
So let me get into this. I took copious amounts of notes for each individual episode, so I'm just gonna read through these notes and elaborate. All right, let me start off by saying episode 1. So it opens. You get the origin of Spider-Man, and real quick, do you want to talk about how this was supposed to be the origin of MCU Spider-Man initially, and then they changed it?
Yeah, no, that was a thing. I remember when it was first pitched back, like during a D something. Are they called D23 Expos?
Yes.
I don't know why they call it that, but okay.
I don't know. Maybe they pitched 23 new things. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Point still stands. I remember when it was first pitched around, and I saw like, oh, it's gonna kind of take after, the original, the original kind of style of Spider-Man and tell his MCU origin story. That'd be interesting.
Mm.
And then they showed Norman Osborn was going to be a character. I was like, how the fuck are they going to explain him away?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, cool concept.
Cool concept, but then they just made it like an alternate universe thing, which is fine. There is a lot of MCU play in this because obviously it does kind of take place in the MCU, just an alternate universe in the MCU.
Yep.
Think of it as like an Elseworlds or like a really fleshed out episode of What If. Which, by the way, can I just say, What If fucking sucks. It's a bad show.
Was the first season any good at least?
The first season had one good episode.
Which was that episode?
The Doctor Strange episode was fucking awesome. Because it's
I thought
just...
for a moment you would have said the T'Challa Star-Lord.
No, that one's fine. All right. This is off topic, but the problem with What If is you have all these incredible characters you could do so many amazing things with, and instead, what they do for most of the show is, what if this guy was another guy? Who cares? I don't care. What if T'Challa was Star-Lord? Yeah, what if? Who gives a fuck? Give me something interesting. Like Marvel Zombies was interesting. They didn't do it particularly well, but it was an interesting idea. Like, who cares? It's not... Give me something else. Like, the last season had an episode where it was like, oh, what if Thanos was Wolverine? Okay, sure. Why? Who cares? Do something interesting other than, what if this guy was actually this guy? Oh. Like, do you really not have any other creative ideas outside of a fucking character swap? It's so...
It was also...
so boring.
The one episode that always took me by interest was... There were two episodes that took me by interest that I've seen clips of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen one of them basically in full and the other only clips of. But the one I've seen in basically in full was the one where Hank Pym fucking loses his mind and just kills the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then there was the one where Yondu handed over Star-Lord, forcing the Avengers to assemble fucking ages earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was cool. The Goliath, from what I've seen, is in that episode, which is neat.
Right. I heard the one where it's like the Avengers in like the 1800s or whatever is not bad.
Yeah.
I heard that episode's all right. But from
and
what
then
I've
remember how it...
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, and then remember how What If ends with showing you all the cool stuff they could have shown instead of all these character swap episodes?
Yeah, like what the fuck? Why didn't you do any of those? Was your writing staff not clever enough to do it, or was it Disney forcing them to just not do it because that would be too interesting and it would distract from the main storyline? I'm so baffled by the potential that What If had as a compelling show that it just squandered episode after episode. But from what I've seen, there's one good episode, and that's the Doctor Strange episode from season 1. Because it's real interesting. Like, Doctor Strange goes power mad because Christine died, and like it's really interesting. It's one of the few times that the what if the superhero was the bad guy, like one of the only times that has worked for me, because it's done really well, and it's so absurd that team did the rest of the show, because what the fuck happened with the rest of the episodes then? Anyway, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Doctor Strange also coincidentally appears in this show.
He does, in the first episode, no less. So episode 1 opens, Doctor Strange, he shows up through a portal fighting a symbiote creature. Very obviously like an alien creature made from the symbiote. And like he starts destroying Midtown High, which Peter is supposed to go to. It's his freshman year. He shows up, he pushes his soon-to-be friend Nico out of the way, and then he gets bit by a spider, which falls from the portal that Doctor Strange fell from. Then we get lots of references to MCU Spider-Man. For example, one of the ones that I found pretty interesting was there's that bit in Civil War where Tony first meets Spider-Man, and he shows him the clip of him like stopping the truck coming at the bus, right?
Yeah.
We see that happen. Like, we see the whole leading up to that, and we see, like, obviously it's an alternate universe, but this is how I imagine it would have happened. But, like, we see the leading up to that and the actual it happening and the aftermath and everything. And it's pretty fun. I also want to add that there is a lot more Uncle Ben stuff in this than I thought there was going to be.
Oh, shit, he's actually in it? I did not.
He is not in it, but his presence is felt and his name is said, and you see what he looks like, which is to say just a white guy with brown hair.
Because they're not old anymore.
Yeah. I also have here weird animation, very stiff in places, but like very stiff. The only time that the animation really works well is during fight scenes, which I think works in its favor because it's a very action-driven series. Yeah. Animation's very sort of clunky. When characters are walking around, it feels awkward. Like, it feels like there's frames missing, and it's just weird. Yeah. I wrote solid theme song. I actually like the theme a lot. There's some, like... have you heard the theme song for this new show?
I have not.
So it's a rap.
Oh.
But it's like a 90s style rap, and they sample the original 60s theme song, and they do it in such an interesting way. Like, it just feels really good. It feels like if you told De La Soul to make a Spider-Man theme song. It's a really solid theme. I like it a lot, actually. All right. Cast of characters. Peter Parker, he's in high school with all of his friends. I gotta look up their names.
Isn't Harry Osborn a character?
Yes, but he's not in high school with him. Harry Osborn in this series is homeschooled.
You know, that makes surprisingly a lot of sense.
It does. All right, so there's Peter. There's fuck. All right, hold on. I gotta go to IMDb and look at the cast so I can have everyone's names, because I don't remember their names. All right. Peter is in love with Pearl Pagan, but Pearl starts dating Lonnie Lincoln.
One of the super ass Superman fucking bullshit double L.
Yeah. His best friend, by the way, is Nico Minoru. And if these character names sound dumb, it's because they are. But also, I did look some of them up, and some of these people are characters, which I will get into. Also, Lonnie Lincoln gets racially profiled. So that's fun. Episode 2, Spider-Man. There's a fight scene that opens episode 2 where Spider-Man throws a guy against a brick chimney so hard that it breaks. And I have here, the guy is somehow not paralyzed from the neck down or killed.
Okay.
I'm going to chalk that up to just comics, which is real dumb and something I've always had a problem with. But if you're a normal human being and Spider-Man throws you up against a brick chimney so hard that the chimney breaks, your bones should be liquid. You should not be walking away. Anyway, Nico is also like, all right, Nico is believed to have like a crush on various characters throughout the series. Lonnie Lincoln's girlfriend, whose name I've already forgotten, Pearl, she's one of them. So she's in love with her. And then later it's also like hinted at that she also has a crush on Harry Osborn, because Harry Osborn in this universe is also like a social media star. Like, he's just like a rich guy's son, a social media star, and he's homeschooled. He doesn't really have any friends. Pretty much, Harry Osborn is Jaden Smith. Peter's lab friends at Oscorp are Asha from Wakanda, who is a character from the comics. I looked this up. Let's see. She seemingly does not have any like alias or superhero name, just Asha, but she is a character from the comics. She's a Wakandan. And then also friends with Jeannie Foucault, who later in the series will be revealed to be Finesse, who's a vigilante character. I don't know. There's a lot of obscure characters in this. But one of his other classmates in the Oscorp program, which, by the way, he gets it's a Tony Stark thing, but Tony Stark is Norman Osborn, basically, is how you should think of it.
Yeah.
One of his other classmates in this Oscorp program is Amadeus Cho. So we get an Amadeus.
I know that fucking name. Why is it so familiar?
I believe he is A-Bomb in the Hulk comics.
No, that's Rick Jones, I thought.
Is it? Who's Amadeus Cho? Let me look this fucker up. No. I am misremembering that.
What?
Yeah, I'm misremembering that. He is not A-Bomb. He is... What's the name of his fucking character here?
No, I've heard that name before. I know I've heard that name before.
He is a Hulk. He succeeds Bruce Banner as the Hulk. So he's just like a Hulk character. He's been around in comics a lot, but he later became the Hulk.
Okay, I'm also going to apologize in advance to you. I think something might have fucked up with my audio just a tad.
Oh,
I'm not sure if
really?
it did or not. It paused it mid-recording, but it should be fine.
Okay.
Should be fine.
I'll try to work through it.
Woo!
Also, also at Oscorp, there's Dr. Whitman, who, Dr. Whitman, there's a few Dr. Whitmans in Marvel Comics, but the way that this version is spelt, he is, in the comics, the character Wizard.
Yeah.
Supervillain, I mostly know him from the, the, like, bad guy Fantastic Four team. He was the leader of that with, like, Medusa from the Inhumans, and I think Paste Pot Pete, and some other guy. I can't remember. Anyway, there's also Carla Connors, who I have written in parentheses as, and I quote, Black Woke Kurt Connors.
Oh, that peaked my fucking mic. The fucking...
Should we talk about the woke thing, the woke controversy with this?
Oh god, I guess we're eventually gonna have to talk about it.
Should we cover that now or at the end?
Right now.
Okay, so the voice actor for Spider-Man in this show, what's his name? Hudson Thames, was getting clowned on the internet because he said the reason he took this job is because it wasn't woke. Oh boy! I'm so glad they hired this man.
Is he even a good voice for Peter?
He's fine. He's good at being Spider-Man. He's all right. I don't know if I talked about that in where do I have that in my notes? Okay, I have that in episode 3, but I'll talk about it now. Voice acting in the show fluctuates. Some guys are really good, like the voice actor they get for Doctor Strange, fucking great. But then like other ones are like could be better. I don't know. Not that great. Maybe they all have illustrious voice acting careers, but in this show, it certainly doesn't feel like it. Anyway, yeah, not not good. He's a fine Spider-Man. He's actually, it's surprisingly funny. I'll give the show that. It got some good laughs out of me, and his Spider-Man is pretty good.
Right.
In episode 2, Spider-Man kicks a normal man with flame gauntlets out of a 4-story building into a 1-story pet store on the ground floor, and he is not only somehow not killed, but also still conscious, because they continue to fight after that. Just a normal guy with gauntlets, no other suit enhancements, just gauntlets. How did that man not die? I don't know. But anyway, he finds an insignia on the gauntlets, and Osborn is like, I'm gonna research this.
Oh boy.
No, sorry. Before we get to that, Norman finds out that Peter is Spider-Man because he changed into the outfit in the Oscorp building, which would obviously have cameras.
Stupid fucking bitch.
So there's that. Episode 3 opens with Norman Osborn invites Peter out to dinner, a private dinner, to like discuss where to go with Spider-Man. And it says they do that trope where someone tries to eat or drink light, but then their host says, "No, I insist." And so it cuts to them chowing the fuck down, and we see a waitress take away like 4 stacked bowls, and Peter is still eating. Is Peter having high metabolism a thing in the comics? Because I know it is for the Flash, but is that a thing for Spider-Man?
I don't think so, because it feels like that would be specifically for super speed.
Yeah. So I don't know why they did that, but okay, sure. It says Norman wanted to get to Peter because he saved Harry. In the first episode, Harry is being harassed and about to get mugged, and then Spider-Man shows up and beats the guys up. That I don't know if you've seen the clip online, but that's the scene where like he hits a guy with a brick.
He just what? He does what?
Okay. All right. Then you haven't seen that online. Okay. So, for context, this guy comes up to beat him with a brick. Spider-Man kicks the brick out of the guy's hand and then uses his web to full force bring the brick down up against the back of the guy's skull, knocking him out instantly. Guy's probably dead, or at least is gonna have some real bad mental issues because he got a brick thrown at the back of his head. Anyway, yeah, he saved Harry, so now Norman wants to fund Spider-Man and be like, yeah, this new Spider-Man.
And then he gets the Future Foundation suit.
Yes, that's what I have later on. I think episode some point. I'll get to that. Where am I? Oh yeah, deals a lot with Uncle Ben. Peter gets his camera from Uncle Ben. That is Uncle Ben's camera. It says Spider-Man quips are genuinely exactly what they should be, a good mix between genuinely funny and lame. Lonnie Lincoln stops his brother from joining a gang, which will most likely be foreshadowing for what he becomes, which I wrote before realizing that he becomes that thing in the same season. So, my bad.
Is fighting Tombstone, right?
Yes.
Fun fact: Tombstone is a major villain in Spectacular Spider-Man, and I feel like they wanted to use Kingpin, but this was like the time where Sony had Marvel like Spider-Man rights, specifically Spider-Man rights, and someone else had Daredevil.
Yeah, it was Fox at the time.
Yeah, and Kingpin's in a weird limbo of being a Spider-Man villain while also being a Daredevil villain.
Yeah, because like he debuted as a Spider-Man villain, but he's I would say nowadays most commonly associated with Daredevil.
He's most commonly associated with Daredevil, despite a lot of his like big major appearances still coming from Spider-Man. He was a big part of Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's true, but then he's also responsible for like Daredevil Born Again. He's in The Man Without Fear. He's in the whole Devil's Reign arc. The time he became the mayor was in a Daredevil storyline. So like I feel like he just sort of became more of a Daredevil villain than a Spider-Man villain, despite still really being a Spider-Man villain. I don't know. It sort of flip-flops. It's interesting. It's kind of, if I could just say, it kind of bums me out that a lot of Daredevil's villains are just recycled Spider-Man villains, like Kingpin, Mysterio. Like, he just cannot seem to stop fighting Spider-Man's villains. It's probably because he doesn't have any good villains.
I mean, he has Bullseye.
He's got Bullseye and Typhoid Mary or whatever, but Muse. But, like, that's about it. He doesn't really have that many good or, like, iconic villains. So they're just like, yeah, you can fight Mysterio. Why not? Fuck it.
Remember that fucking panel of him kissing Black Cat and Peter saying, "This is the start of my villain origin story"?
I do. I hate that because that's a weird age gap.
It is.
All right. Episode 4, Norman makes Peter a new suit. There's a few different suits that they go through. There's a Thor suit, which has like a cape, and it ends with him getting his cape stuck on a thing, and then the thugs just beat the shit out of him. Cut to Edna Mode from The Incredibles right now.
No kicks!
Right.
He has a bug suit, which reminded me a lot of the villain Beetle. Probably a reference. And then he has what I call a scary black suit, because he shows up and it's like a Batman suit kind of thing. And like he scares a little kid because he just looks scary. And there's a great bit where he's like, this suit is too scary. And Norman's like, okay, what if we had a smiley face to it? And Peter's like, that would make it worse. I thought that was a fun bit. Lincoln gets set up to do a job. So he goes out to do he gets set up to do a job, which eventually just ends up being he goes out to get burritos, but then he gets tracked by a lady who works for the Scorpion Gang.
Pardon?
Yes. So Scorpion is like kind of the big bad for this series. For this season, rather. And like he has his own gang. And Lonnie Lincoln gets drafted into a gang run by Big Donovan called the 110th. And the 110th gang and the Scorpion Gang are rival gangs.
I need to point out that this is basically almost the plot of the plot line they were setting up in Spectacular Spider-Man season 2.
Really?
Where they were setting up a gang war between Tombstone, Silver Sable's dad, and Doc Ock's fucking Sinister Six fucking ragtag group of supervillains. And also, Hammerhead was going to start his own gang because Norman got into his fucking head and was like, you could start your own gang. And Norman was pulling the strings, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Interesting you mentioned that, because there is a Doc Ock connection that we'll get to. The Sokovia Accords still happened in this universe. Eventually, they land on Norman, creates Peter the Future Foundation suit. It's basically the Future Foundation suit.
They don't call it the Future Foundation suit, but it is.
Yeah. It's fun seeing it. Then Russians, like a Russian gang, show up to do like a fucking crime thing, and then they get arrested, but one of them gets away. Harry finds out Peter is Spider-Man because Spider-Man comes back into the Oscorp tower, and he's dressed as Spider-Man, and he takes his mask off, and he's like, wow, Mr. Osborn, this suit is great, and Harry's there. And so that's how Harry finds out. It's also revealed that the symbol that they found on the flame guy's hands, and there's another couple that have these other things, these other weapons. All of it's being manufactured by Doc Ock. Episode 5.
Oh boy.
Doc Ock makes enhancements and is also kind of gay.
When is Doc Ock not kind of fruity?
Okay, but like he has like a guy who like helps him out, and like there's like an episode, it's later on in the season, but there's an episode where he's like, he gets a call from the guy, and the guy's just like, have you eaten anything today? Like,
So he got his own Agent Stone.
yes, no, yes, literally, that's what it is. It's so gay. There's a point where someone says, I missed the part where that's my problem. Cue laugh. There is a... I wrote this down because... All right, you can stop fucking laughing now. Stop fucking laughing. I wrote this down because I thought this was funny to bring up because of our history.
Yeah.
There is a conspiracy theory. Basically, it's sort of taking place after Civil War. So, like,
Right.
Captain America is a war criminal, right? He's on the run. And Harry helping out Peter going on patrol, right, in his ear. Yeah. And he brings up the fact that there is a conspiracy theory about Captain America, which is basically just the Paul is dead conspiracy theory.
I mean, to be fair, in Marvel Comics, it technically is sort of true.
I love that.
That's fucking great. That's great.
Oh yeah, also Harry Osborn is Jaden Smith, but also a genius, but also a himbo. Lonnie gets pulled out of school.
So they just tried to put fucking all of Peter's best friends into one character.
Pretty much.
Harry Osborn's supposed to be a fucking bitch-ass motherfucker who's like, yeah, I'm your best friend, Pete. Pete, good things start happening to Peter. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, no, he's like a total himbo. Lonnie gets pulled out of school and joins the 1/10th gang to fight the Scorpion gang. During this, Scorpion, the guy who will become Scorpion, attacks Big Don with a knife, and Lonnie tackles him out of the way and defends him. This leads to, at the end of the episode, they go back to the gang's hideout, and Big Don gives Lonnie the name Tombstone. Episode 6!
Woo!
I just want to point something out before we get into this. This is the best episode. That's going to become apparent why. Episode 6, Peter is forcing Nico and Harry to be friends because Nico is like a goth, like, fuck the establishment kind of girl. And, like, Harry's the son of, like, a tech billionaire. So there's that, and he's trying to force them to become friends. Norman goes to a charity ball where we get our first cameo from Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh, yo. It's that guy who gets red.
It's the red guy. Osborn is negotiating. It's Redman. Osborn is negotiating with Secretary Ross for Spider-Man to join, like, sign the Sokovia Accords and everything, and, like, become a registered superhero and work for Ross.
Right.
Interesting thing about that, though, is he hides Peter's identity, as he when showing Ross the spreadsheet on Spider-Man, the identity that he gives to him is the identity of the guy at the front desk of the Oscorp building.
Wow.
Like, he just outs that one guy to Ross because he's a piece of shit.
That's typical of Norman Osborn.
Yeah. Spidey has to see what the security alert at Oscorp is, because there's a break-in at the Oscorp tower. And so Peter leaves Nico and Nico and Harry alone to, like, try and become friends. Harry and Nico seemingly start to bond over spirituality because she has a deck of tarot cards, and, like, she's like shuffling them around, and, like, he says something and she's like, "You're not actually into this, are you?" And he's like, "Well, I'm into it for, like, a fashion trend." And so it's back to square one, and they're, like, real awkward. Next here, I'm going to...
How much that sounds like an actual conversation fucking teenagers would have.
Yeah.
Teenagers scare the living... That's all I can sing. That's all I can sing. Before
we get sued. We're probably going to get sued by Amazon based on the clip in the last episode.
I mean, we could... I mean, you haven't published it yet, so, like, you could just put some wacky, crazy effects over it, you know?
Nah, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna leave that in. Fuck it.
You could have it, right? You could have it where you clip it to be like away, where it's just the death. It's just him popping. Just that. like it's
That'd
just
be
that.
great.
It's just like that one pop, so Amazon can't do jack shit to us.
It's like
you hear
it's
that?
Like, it's like how I
hear
did
that?
the cut of the Luigi bit, where it's just like 1 second.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please consult the first episode on YouTube. Because obviously it's not going to be there for the audio versions, but on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this next bit in episode 6, I have written down, and I'm going to read it exactly. I also want to point out it was kind of late last night when I was watching this, so I was kind of tired, and so this immediately piqued my interest and got me back on board. These are 3 separate notes that I have listed, by the way, in all caps. Daredevil, fuck, I'm coming. I love this so much.
Yeah, no, I saw the fucking clip of Spider-Man fighting Daredevil, and I was like, oh, Gio probably really likes that.
Yeah. So Daredevil shows up. He broke into the Oscorp building. He's investigating Norman Osborn because obviously Daredevil's not an idiot, and obviously Norman Osborn is a very evil man. And then Spider-Man, trying to protect Oscorp and Osborn, starts to fight Daredevil, and Daredevil beats the shit out of him.
If you're old enough to crawl, you're old enough to brawl.
He just
Matt Murdock,
beats the
2025.
fucking shit out of him. It's kind of great, because I don't know if Spider-Man lands a single punch on him. It's... Granted, it's a new Spider-Man. He's still getting used to it, and it's a obviously pretty experienced Daredevil. Obviously, that's how it would go. He is, but it's not like the traditional black suit, because it has like the regular Daredevil mask, but it's black.
So, like, it's not armored Daredevil, but, like, almost.
Yes.
What's your opinion on that suit, by the way?
It looks more akin to, like, a mix between the Man Without Fear Frank Miller suit and also, like, the Shadowlands Daredevil suit, which was just, like, the classic Daredevil suit, but it was black.
All right.
So it's, like, kind of a mix between those. Also, Charlie Cox's first voice acting role. And
does he kill it?
He's great. Of course he kills it. He fucking nails this character every time he shows up. Even the 2 seconds he has an Echo, fucking great. He just kills it every time he shows up as this character. It's fantastic.
You're gonna need a good lawyer.
You're gonna.
We're gonna need a good lawyer.
Yeah. Other thing that happens, Harry tells Nico that Peter is Spider-Man. Whoops.
What the fuck?
Because he's a himbo. I have written here, Norman is going to track Otto through his weapons because they have a history together. I want more Daredevil. And Doc Ock built the Scorpion suit. That's the end of the episode. He built the Scorpion suit. All right, I'm going to run through these all pretty quick because we're already an hour into this.
And we know how long the fucking last audio track was. So
yes. Episode 7, Peter and Nico aren't talking because he hid that from her. Lonnie's girlfriend starts venting to Peter about how Lonnie isn't coming to school anymore because he's the Tombstone now. There's a diss against Spider-Man 2 because they're trying to figure out how Doc Ock is powering these super weapons, and Peter suggests solar energy, and Norman Osborn says, "Yeah, right." Like he would be able to harness the power of the sun. Harry teaches Nico how to drive, and she gets in a street race, and they bond and they become friends. Do a Flip guy is a character now, I guess. I fucking hate it. It's dumb. Scorpion raids the gang's hideout. They keep treating All right, this is a problem I have. They keep treating Peter and Nico like they're lifelong friends when, in the context of the show, they met
just
freshman year of
fucking
high
met.
school. So that would mean they would have been friends for maybe 2 years max. It's real dumb. The gamma radiation is how Doc Ock is powering these suits, and the Spider-Man fights Scorpion, gets the shit beat out of him. Also, the gamma radiation fuses the Scorpion suit to Gargan's skin, like in the comic books. And then, in order to save Spider-Man from being killed by the Scorpion, Norman Osborn implements a new technology that he's testing, which is a Goblin Glider.
Yahoo!
The Goblin Glider comes in and saves Spider-Man. Episode 8, I have Doc Ock has a boyfriend. We talked about that. Norman tells Peter to fuck off. If you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it, basically.
Gio, are those Snapchat notifications coming from your phone, by the way?
Yes.
Is that your girlfriend?
No. Let's see. Norman...
I completely threw you off your fucking game there.
You did. I was like, oh shit, this is real. This is a real conversation. Fuck. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
Where am I? Okay. There's a really fun scene where, all right, so Norman calls the feds on Doc Ock to arrest him because Peter is unfit because he's all beat up and stabbed and shit. So the feds go to arrest Doc Ock, and he calls on his arms. They're not attached to him, but he's built them, and so they just start beating up all the guys. It's kind of like the scene in Spider-Man 2, but with more like fun, because he's like going around, he's dancing and shit, like it's pretty fun. And then Ross shows up and he's like, nah, fuck you, and then he walks away, and then Iron Man shows up and arrests him. So there's that. Lonnie decides to leave his girlfriend to join the gang full time. Norman tells Peter, with great power comes great respect, because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
The Chameleon comes back to help the 110 gang. Basically tells him, oh, Doc Ock and everything. Harry gives Peter his comic book suit. So his suit is damaged. Peter goes to Harry for help, and Harry is like, hey, I saw your drawings in your sketchbook. I thought they were cool, so I modified the suit. Here it is. It's your suit from the comic books. Episode 9, Norman visits Otto in jail to gloat and reveal that he only arrested Otto to seize control over all of his tech. The 110 gang stops the cops from taking the tech so they can get back at Scorpion. I just want to say it's so fucking fun watching Spider-Man in his comic accurate suit fight Scorpion. It's great. It's just, it feels like that whole fight scene feels like something right out of the comics. It's a lot of fun. He gets really overwhelmed, and Tombstone stops Spider-Man from killing Scorpion. It's the scene in No Way Home where like he's gonna stab him with the glider, and then Toby jumps in. It's like that scene.
Except good.
Yeah.
Yahoo!
Spidey and Nico make up. They're friends again. Also, Tombstone gets subjected to a gas which makes him the Tombstone, and he gets all fucking strong and shit. And then he helps Spider-Man beat up Scorpion. And then it says, Dr. Whitman, wizard, has been working on recreating Spider-Man's DNA.
Oh, so that's where Spider-Gwen's gonna come in.
I'll get to that. But we know this because we see early on in that episode when Peter is being like taken care of medically after getting the shit beat out of him, someone takes a blood sample. Episode 10, final episode. Nico is now covering for Peter wherever she can at school. So, like, he's late to show up for his class project, and she's like, he'll come. I don't know. Fuck it. Norman shows the interns their new project, a space and interdimensional portal.
Oh.
Then Doctor Strange shows up to stop Osborn, being like, "Hey, this is a bad fucking idea. You shouldn't do this." Strange also doesn't remember the school attack, so he's probably from another dimension. Symbiote creature comes back. It comes in through the portal. Strange ends up taking the beast, this is the reveal, through a time portal back to the first episode when he wrecked the school, and the recreated spider from Peter's DNA falls through the portal and bites Peter.
This shit is a fucking time loop. I swear to fucking God.
It's a time loop! Yeah! It's so stupid!
Okay. I respect you saying that this doesn't feel like a cop-out.
It is a cop-out. It is a cop-out. But the way they handle it makes it feel not like a cop-out.
So it's a slightly licked wound of a cop-out.
Yeah. Like, it feels fine. But it is a cop-out.
But it's going to lead to unforeseen consequences.
Probably. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange beat the creature. They destroy the portal, but a small bit of symbiote came through, of course. Then Strange and Spider-Man have a heart-to-heart. It's a really nice moment where Spider-Man's like, you can time travel. Can you see in the future? Like, when will I be ready? And Doctor Strange is like, bro, you're ready now. You're kind of killing it at the moment. You're fucking great. Just let things happen. And then it cuts out and you see the Watcher in the sky. He doesn't do anything, but he's in the skyline. Norman has the symbiote. It is revealed that Jeannie, one of his Oscorp classmates, Finesse, is working with Daredevil to take down Norman Osborn. And Daredevil shows up again for like 10 seconds in this last episode. I should also point out that in the comics, Jeannie, Finesse, is the alleged daughter of Tony Masters. Do you know who that is?
No.
Taskmaster.
Oh,
so that's pretty cool. Because of what happened at the Scorpion fight in the last episode, Tombstone takes over the 1/10th gang. May goes to see someone in jail who is revealed to be Peter's father. Wow. He's still alive. Hold for applause. Okay. Let me tell you one thing that I found out that's actually kind of cool looking at the IMDb of this. Richard Parker, Peter's father, in that one bit in the last episode is voiced. This is our full circle moment. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's Josh Keaton!
Woo!
That's our full circle moment. It's the same guy. Also, the final swing is pretty good.
One final swing around the city.
Yep, that's the show.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna say 7.5 out of 10. It's fine. it's
gonna
right.
sound. It sounds like I'm like a lot of it reminded me of Spectacular from a summary point of view.
Right.
but way more convoluted.
It's very convoluted. All right. Most of this review was me just shitting on it the whole time, except for me being a big Daredevil fanboy in the middle.
Yeah.
But I genuinely did have more fun with this than I thought I was going to.
Like,
So if you would want to watch it, like, I'd say go for it, because there's some really fun stuff in this.
right.
Like, it's not a bad show by any means. I'm interested in where they take it. Hopefully it gets better. But if it doesn't get worse, that's all I'm saying. If it doesn't get worse, then it'll stay as just like a decent Spider-Man show with some good elements and some mediocre elements.
But this is going, like, we're reaching our wrap-up point eventually here. But this is leading into the point we teased at the start of the episode with Spider-Verse being oversaturated. I think this show is, like, the modern-day Spectacular, not in the way it's, like, as good as Spectacular, but it's using every facet of what is now in the public perception of Spider-Man to make the Spider-Man show, right?
Right.
And a lot of that happens to involve the multiverse, which is a major problem facing all superhero media. Like, Deadpool and Wolverine got away with it because Ryan Reynolds knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
But, like, this, like, they made it work, but, like, with the teaser of Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, there is very much a possibility we're going down the route of too many spider people. Right? And, like, I'm a Ben Reilly fan. I feel like pot calling the kettle black, right? When I say this.
Right.
But with Ben Reilly, it's a different story because Ben Reilly was intended to take over for Peter so that Peter could complete his character arc without having to jump through leaps and bounds to keep status quo on Peter going for, like, years to come, which is stupid because they could have just developed Peter more, but, you know, whatever, right?
Right.
Because, like, Spider-Man has jumped the shark so many times. Clone Saga was jumping the shark. But, like, Superior is when they leapt over the tank. Like, Doc Ock swapping bodies, I think, is where everything kind of just hit the wall. Like, okay, One More Day. We all hate it, but it has affected canon to the point where we can't undo it.
Right.
One More Day. Infamous. That's not jumping the shark. That's just them making an explanation for a universe that isn't Peter and MJ getting a divorce.
Yeah.
As to why Peter and MJ aren't married. And then, but Superior is when they jumped the shark, because Superior then went directly into the original Spider-Verse story, which that's a mixed bag in of itself. I still think the Inheritors are kind of stupid and dumb. Why do they feast on animal totems, and why do they have a preference for the spiders? Why is there just a whole fucking web of destiny? Why does there need to be a web of destiny? It makes Peter feel a lot more chosen one than there's always been that thing where Spider-Man's the best of them. He's the best hero. He's the one who fights to the last breath. He's the one Cable's like, oh shit, you're Spider-Man. Can I get your autograph? He's like the one everyone hypes up, right?
Right.
But that's because he's the little guy stepping into a big role. Making him legitimately just kind of integral to the fabric of reality feels stupid. Like, I don't know. Spider-Verse as a one-off thing was alright. It was cool. I liked seeing it. I like seeing more Spider-Man, right? And then there was another Spider-Verse story. Okay, cool. And there was a third one, which came after the movie, but the movie was really good. It felt like a celebration of Spider-Man up to that point, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the whole Tobey Maguire tribute, like, with the flashback.
Yeah.
But, like, across the Spider-Verse and beyond the Spider-Verse, and the fact that they were originally supposed to be a singular movie, this is what's telling to me of like we're really kind of going all in on the multiverse thing for Spider-Man. And
Yeah, I don't mind it on that end because I thought Across the Spider-Verse was really good.
it's really good. It
But
has its flaws, don't get me wrong, but
I see what you're saying. Like, it's very... They're oversaturating the market, essentially.
it's not just a problem with Spider-Man because Spider-Man's the like what I like to call the origin point of alternate dimensions, considering the fucking 90s cartoon did it first. Like, weirdly enough. But when it comes down to it, Spider-Man's always been the vocal point of it, because, like, I don't know why, actually. Like, it feels to me like they wanted to include Ben Reilly in the original, like, 90s show. And then they were like, okay, we can just do a quick summary. We can even throw in some cool little ideas for what if Spider-Man. And that's
Right.
neat. And it's like, it's neat. They I love how it's a team of like 6 Spider-Men, and they're Madame Web's words, the best. And it's armored Spider-Man, 6-armed Spider-Man, Spider-Man with Dr. Octopus's arms, and the Scarlet Spider.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. It's so funny. But like, yeah, no, because like another thing to note with the whole Spider-Verse thing is how Miles being incorporated to 616 made sense because Peter was an adult in 616 still. So like, you know, it made sense. Why the
Yeah.
fuck do we need Spider-Gwen in 616?
Cause money, you know? It
'Cause
just
money.
it'll sell. Cause
It'll sell.
Spider-Man
It'll sell.
will always sell.
It will always sell. That's just kind of the thing with it. In fact, that's why they kept the Clone Saga going for as long as they did. It's because at the start it sold so fucking well.
Yeah.
And then when Marvel Editorial started having fucking house fires behind the scenes, they just kind of had to keep dragging it out because they didn't have the time or resources to end it on a satisfying note. And then it dragged out on and on and on. And then we got the ending we did, which resurrected Norman Osborn with no apparent rhyme or reason, despite the fact they could have easily just said he was a clone of Norman. That would have been
Considering it
the
was the
easiest.
Clone Saga.
But no, it was the real Norman. Of course it was the real Norman, you know.
Because it had to be.
It could have been a clone. They could have so easily explained it as a clone. They could have had Harry fucking commission Miles Warren to make a clone of his dad, because Harry is a piece of shit who misses his dad, who was a bigger piece of shit. Harry, you have daddy issues. Just accept that. But
He does.
but like
He does a little bit in this show too, but like not to the extent
Not-
of like most comics.
like yeah, it feels like this one's a lot more play it safe because, like, it feels like it wants to do what Spectacular did, but doesn't have that same freedom that Spectacular did. You get what I mean?
Yeah, because
Like-
although it's an alternate universe, it still has to be the MCU. So I feel like there's like certain beats that it has to hit no matter what. It has to hit these same beats. Doesn't matter that it's an alternate universe. Just keep doing it. If it's boring, I don't care. Just keep fucking doing it.
And it's like I think my favorite Spider-Man alternates are when it's just someone else in Peter's class being bit by a spider. Like, that's why I was so for the idea of Spider-Gwen at first, because yeah, it would be interesting to see what would the world be like if Gwen Stacy was the Spider-Man, or what would Flash Thompson be like as the Spider-Man, or you know, so on and so forth. Like, has it ever been like explored what if Harry was bitten by the spider?
I'm sure it must have been.
I have never.
Like it had to have been.
It feels like the most obvious thing in the world.
I know he's been Venom.
Yeah, but Yeah, no, I feel like after this episode, we're gonna go look it up, and we're gonna find out it's not happened officially yet, and we're gonna talk about how, out of all the fucking variants of, like Spy, because like that's a thing I complained about, like before we started. I don't know if I complained about it earlier, but I feel like it's boring to have a lot of variants of Spider-Man just be Peter.
Mhm.
I'm not saying, oh, have Spider-Man variants that are what if superhero was actually Spider-Man. Make it normal, average people. What if fucking Ned Leeds was Spider-Man? What if Betty Brant was Spider-Man? Anyone can be behind the mask.
What
That's
if
the whole
Aunt
point.
May was Spider-Man?
Well, that has happened.
What if Aunt May was a secret agent? Remember when Sony were going to make that movie?
I don't, and I'm glad I don't.
Do you want to hear about this?
All right, let's hear about it.
Real quick, and then we can end. So do you remember the Sony hack?
Yes, I do. The one where they showed the fucking Sonic thing in it.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, oh my God, I think that's going to be 10 years ago now, since it's 2025. I think around 2015, Sony got hacked and a bunch of emails leaked. And there was emails for like a bunch of different upcoming Sony projects, back and forths and all that sort of thing. And one of them was the fact that Sony was apparently attempting to make an Aunt May spin-off film set in the Amazing Spider-Man universe where Aunt May would have been a secret agent super spy because of all the super spy intrigue from Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's real.
Couldn't they have just made it about his parents who were actually secret agents in the comics?
They could have, but they chose Aunt May for whatever reason. That was a movie that they were going to make, or at least planning on making, before it got leaked, and everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing? And so then Sony was just like, all right, fuck, we should talk to Marvel. And then
and now
Tom
we're
Holland.
where we are today.
Yeah.
But overall,
With diminishing returns.
we've come to the end of the episode, and I think the overall conclusion to bring is that Spider-Man, for better and for worse, is a timeless character who is going to live on throughout the rest of time. He will live on longer than any of us.
Spider-Man, isn't that a comforting thought that long after you and I are dead, long after you are dead, that Spider-Man will still be being written by complete fucking lunatics and complete fucking sadists who can't let my boy be happy, who constantly have to be beating him the fuck down, and
Paul.
yet he's still being marketed towards children.
The latest fucking comic run has him just dying over and over again.
It's so fun. I love it. I love Spider-Man.
Also, everyone should read the 5-issue miniseries, Ben Reilly Spider-Man from 2022. It's really good. It's a really nice look into Ben Reilly as a character and explores sense of self, how people interact, how people can change. Spider-Side's in it. You should go read it right now. Go do it. It's like $20 for a physical copy on Amazon. I saw one at my local comic shop the other day. It's not hard to find. You should totally get it. Get it. Show Marvel that you like Ben Reilly as Spider-Man, not as Chasm. Please, for the love of God, please. Please.
I would like to end this episode on the note that this new series clearly, I want to talk a bit about Norman Osborn in this new series where
The Ultimate or?
No, the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, where they clearly cast this guy. Now, this guy who plays him, Coleman Domingo, he's a fucking great actor. Don't get me wrong. I think he's up for an Oscar this year. He's a fucking great actor, but they clearly cast this guy because I don't know if you've heard him in any interview or anything where he's ever spoken with his normal voice, but he sounds like Willem Dafoe. Like, they clearly cast this guy because he just sounds like Willem Dafoe. And also, they made Norman black so they could give him waves, his comic accurate waves, without getting in trouble. And to that I say, Disney, you fucking cowards. Put the waves on a white man. Let me see your fucking balls and put the waves on a goddamn white man!
This has been High on Soup, episode 2, the podcast, episode 2 of the podcast, at least. And we're happy to have been here. We were not sponsored by any corporation mentioned. God bless this mess. Amen.